Marsh Boxing, I'm back at it, man. Live and direct with another post-fight review. Here we are with the WBA light heavyweight strap, 175-pound strap held by Dmitry Bivol, 20 and 0, 19 and 0 coming into this fight. Or is it 20 and 0? 20 and 0, yes. Versus Zurdo, Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez from Mexico, 44 and 0. So this is a battle of undefeateds at light heavyweight. Vicious fight from these two as far as what they bring into the table. Now, round one, I gave it to Bivol. Bivol was pumping out his jab, using his lateral movement, but sticking to the center of the ring like he usually does. The man ain't just gonna stand in front of you, but he ain't gonna be on his bicycle or anything. Dmitry wins round one. Round two and three, I give it to the man Zurdo. You know what I mean? Zurdo was letting his hands go, especially his jab. He's a bigger, taller fighter. Comes into this fight weighing over 200 pounds. A fight that was contracted at 175 pounds. Just goes to show how big of a light heavyweight the man Zurdo Gilberto Ramirez is. The man Dmitry Bivol, though, now started to pick off the man Zurdo with the jab, and now starting to let his combinations go. You know what I mean? Zurdo's the southpaw, and he was getting clocked with that right hand. The man Zurdo Ramirez hand speed couldn't match the man Dmitry Bivol'S. And Bivol realized that in rounds 5, and he started to go to work. Excuse me, rounds 4. He started to go to work, let his hands go. Not so much body punching from neither guy in this fight. I'm not saying these guys were headhunters, but they were basically trying to figure out the distance and range for half of the fight. Because through 6 rounds, I had this fight 3 rounds apiece after 6. I gave Zurdo Ramirez rounds 2 and 3, and I gave him round 5. Round 6, I gave it to Zurdo. I gave it to, what's his name? Dmitry Bivol. And Dmitry Bivol just started going to work. The hand speed, picking off shots, changing real fast from defense to offense. And this fight, really, the man Zurdo Ramirez got exposed. Never had a problem with them. I respect his 44 and 0 record. How many times in your boxing life, have you ever seen a super middleweight, light heavyweight, Mexican southpaw? I rate his skill set, you know what I mean? But one thing that he was never really tested with, and when he did get tested with, was his defense when he fought fellas like Jesse Hart from Philadelphia, you know what I mean? And he turned that fight into a barn burner, fire fight, you know what I mean? As far as go, going all out, letting his hands go and neglecting his defense. But tonight he couldn't do that. He couldn't let his hands go, and he couldn't and his defense was not tight enough to avoid all these crisp, accurate punches that the man Dmitry Bivol was landing. You know what I mean? Dmitry Bivol, being the smaller fighter, now he don't keep his back on the ropes. Whenever he did find himself with his back on the ropes, he'd pivot right quick, move over to the left or move over to the right, and he'd get the hell up out of Dodge, and he'd start letting his hands go. You know what I mean? Precise punching, I'm talking about 3, 4, 5. I've even seen a 10-punch combination the man landed tonight, and Zurdo Ramirez could not find any opportunity to let his hands go in between, you know what I mean? Because the hand speed was just a little too much. Zurdo Ramirez started to crouch low too, and he just couldn't transition from defense to offense as great as the man Dmitry Bivol did, you know what I mean? So I gave Zurdo Ramirez round 10, and that was about it. I had him losing this fight 8 rounds to 4. You know what I mean? I think the judges had a little wide. Two had it 9 rounds to 3, and one had it 10 rounds to 2. Zurdo Ramirez won more than 2 and 3 rounds, you know, but he just couldn't deal with the man, Dmitry Bivol's skill set. You know what I mean? The footwork. Dmitry Bivol being the smaller fighter with the shorter reach, but his jab was more accurate. And, you know, it was penetrating the guard of the man, Zurdo Ramirez, and his earmuffs. You know what I mean? He was trying to keep a tight, high guard, but he couldn't do anything with the man, Zurdo Ramirez hand speed. You know what I mean? So, I'm sorry, Dmitry Bivol. So, big ups to Bivol. That's a major play in the boxing game, man. I got this guy beating a Sergey Kovalev in his prime. He might be Zurdo Ramirez. I'm sorry, Dmitry Bivol might be the second or third best Russian I've ever seen in the boxing ring in the professional ranks. You know what I mean? I rate guys like Kostya, of course. You know what I mean? And Yuri Abrikov. You know what I mean? Former WBC 112-pound champion, who's a very good, damn good fighter. You know what I mean? But Dmitry Bivol is in them rankings, you know what I mean? You know, the big fight left out for him. Now, Canoli ain't going to fight this guy again. And if Canoli does, he going to get his ass handed to him. You know what I mean? In spectacular fashion, just like the first fight, you know? Canoli can't fuck with the man Dmitry Bivol, you know what I mean? Only guy left out there left now is get this undisputed shit popping, man. WBC, WBA, IBF, WBO strap. You know, 3 of the 4 straps are held by the fellow Russian Arthur Beterbiev, who himself is undefeated with a vicious knockout ratio. Slim might be like 16 and 0, 18 and 0, I don't know, with 18 KOs. Every fight he's been in, he ain't never gone the distance. So that's what we want to see next. All right, be Marsh Boxley, your thoughts and comments. I'll catch you on the next one. Big ups to Dmitry Bivol, retaining his title, improving to 20 wins. Or is it 21 and 0 with 11 KOs? Gone.